Thank you for starting the recording. A very warm welcome to all of you for today's session. My name is Pavan Adhikari, and I represent DPCube Learning, which manages the ETS India Resource Center. Today promises to be an enriching and engrossing evening for all of us, as we have gathered educational stalwarts, both in the panel and in the attendees. This session would be recorded. You have heard it before. The reason for its recording is we like to share with you the recording and to others who are not able to join today's session. I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions for our panelists today. Just hold on to your horses. Before the end of the session, we'd like you to ask your question and answer session in the Q&A box out here. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you now to the ETS India team, starting with Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie is the Senior Business Development Director at Global Higher Education Division of ETS. She plays an integral role in leading one of the three strategic pillars of the division and is instrumental in overseeing and devising market growth and expansion strategies within the US, EMEA, China, India, East Asia, Southeast Asia. Anne-Marie, is there a region that you don't oversee? She has spent more than 20 years working for ETS in various leadership capacities spanning K-12 and higher education. Welcome to the session, Anne-Marie. Glad you can make it. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Lijo Sam Oomen, who's the Managing Director for ETS India. Lijo is a seasoned business development leader and has held various important assignments with leading organizations such as Reliance Money, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, etc. Prior to joining ETS India, Lijo was the general manager at Pearson, where he is credited for establishing PTE Academy and for its contribution to the strong business performance that has come year on year from the Pearson stable. Let me also introduce you to Siddharth Iyer, who's the Marketing Director for ETS India. He's worked extensively in the education domain for more than 15 years. In his current role, Siddharth manages the Asian network, institutions, and test center relations for the TOEFL IBT test. Prior to joining ETS, Siddharth has held key positions in international higher education with organizations like Education New Zealand and Pearson Education. Welcome to the session, Siddharth. Let me introduce you to Tanya Bajaj, who's the Client Relations Director for GRE in ETS India. She actively engages and builds relationships with stakeholders and senior leaders in institutions and government. She has more than 12 years of experience in the higher education domain and has worked in supporting large organizations entering higher growth markets. Prior to joining ETS, she has worked with organizations like LSAC, ACT, and LLF. Welcome to the session, Tanya. Salil Sharma is the lead test center operations for ETS India, a professional with more than 13 years of experience in test delivery and assessment channel. Prior to joining ETS, Salil has worked with leading organizations such as Paragon and Pearson Group. Glad that you're here, Salil. Now, let me also introduce you the business development team that will be supporting your efforts on the ground, which is led by Karthik Rajasekharan, who's got 18 plus years of experience in the field of marketing and business development, including 6+ years in international student recruitment and 10+ years in business development and delivery of English language assessment. Karthik has worked in companies like British Council and IDP and is currently based out of Chennai. Karthik, may I request you to now introduce your fellow team members who will be supporting our educational partners. Over to you.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you all, and welcome one and all. I would just like to introduce my team who are based in the major cities of India. And to start off with, I would like to introduce Joseph Augustine, who has joined us as the Senior Manager for Business Development, and he would be taking care of Delhi and East India. Joseph is a management graduate and comes with an experience of about 12 years He's worked in organizations like Career Launcher, Mania, the Princeton Review, College Deco, and before he joined the DPQ family, he had worked with Learning Licks Foundation. So welcome on board, Joseph. I would like to introduce Sarika Balchandani, who's joined us as the Senior Manager Business Development Maharashtra. She is based out of Mumbai, and she would be handling the state of Maharashtra. She comes with 20 plus years of experience, and she has completed a postgraduate diploma in human resources from NMMIS Mumbai. Jayashree Natarajan has joined us as the Senior Manager for Business Development for the state of Karnataka. Jayashree is an MBA graduate, postgraduate, specializing in marketing, and she comes with about 7 years of experience in sales, operations, marketing, and business development. She has worked with me in British Council, and before joining us, she was worked with Byju's Future School. Jayashree is based out of Bangalore. Thank you. I would like to introduce Bharat Kara, who's joined us as a business development manager for the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. He comes with 7+ years of experience into marketing and operations, where he handled both the GATE exam, the GATE forum, and his last stint was with IDP Australia before he joined us. Bharat is based out of Hyderabad. I would like to welcome Banu Sharma, who is the Business Development Manager, joined us in Punjab. Banu is based out of Chandigarh. She started as a school teacher and comes with about 12 years of experience in the K-12 domain. She's worked with organizations like Next Education, Milestone, and her last stint before joining us was with Oxford University Press. Bhagyashree, who is based out of Ahmedabad. She has joined us as a business development manager. She comes with 4 years of experience in event management, and her last stint was with Pyramid Education Consultants. And she has also completed her company secretary course and LLB. Welcome, Bhagyashree, and Bhagyashree is based out of Ahmedabad. Thank you, and over to you, Pawan.
Thank you so much, Karthik. So as you see, we have a big team to support our educational partners on the ground, whether it's from the ETS side or from the ETS India Resource Center, which is managed by DPQ Learning. But we are there to help you. We are there to assist you in fulfilling the dreams of students going to study abroad or in India, as the case may be. You may also contact the ETS India Resource Center at this number. We are available there to help you and support you, or you can email us at registerforgre@etsindia.org. Moving to the real stuff of today's session. I know this is a transition slide where I invite Lijo, but I would not let Anne-Marie go scot-free. Since we have you, Anne-Marie, and you've taken such pains to wake up early in your day out there in US, I believe our 150 plus educational partners who already joined us in this session would love to hear from you. If you please, Anne-Marie.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is quite an invigorating session with promising outcomes. I'm definitely glad to be a part of this. I do greet everyone and bring greetings from our headquarters from the Global Higher Education Division at ETS. And, you know, this program attests to our endeavors to remain in tuned and connected to the evolving needs of learners, as well as institutions, but most importantly, our educational partners who are joining us today. So our desire, therefore, is to continue to work in this capacity and to support the efforts underway. We want to do more, and we're truly vested in this. ETS has and continues to make strategic investments to support the work of all those who are in line with helping our prospective graduates to pursue their dreams. And most importantly, you know, ETS, we are the world's largest nonprofit assessment and research organization. And in that sense, our goal here is to continue to provide valid, reliable, and trusted assessments that, such as the GRE General Test, which I oversee on the global front, that continues to create more opportunities for our learners and also encourages them to pursue graduate studies. But what we're doing on the global side that I just want to be sharing here is to understand that we have global teams all across in many different countries who are tasked with supporting the efforts that you're doing in country, and for our educational consultants here to understand that they're going about to thousands of different universities, and they're building relationships and they're deepening relationships with our university partners to help them to understand the value of a GRE score and how it is used as an objective measure. And most importantly, how to help them to build a more diverse pipeline. We're continuing to establish new councils, and we're expanding our existing councils. So we have councils that consist of senior administrators from different institutions, as well as admissions directors, councils that cover graduate education, as well as our Global Business School Advisory Council. We have a Business School Advisory Council that is specific to India as well. And we also have our Legal Education Advisory Council. So we are very well vested in these councils because they support the work that we do. And they help us to identify opportunities to continue to innovate and partner with graduate and professional schools, as well as industry leaders. So endeavors are to continue to build out the network that we have here today, and network that have the same shared interests that we have to pursue and to help support graduate students in their studies and in academia. But most importantly, we want to continue to build forward an educational and a career pathway opportunities for them. You know, just to sum up here, I know I only have a few minutes, but I just want to highlight that, you know, this ETS India team has been a great establishment for us this year. And we are endeavoring to continue the work, but it's quite an exciting time for us here at ETS, because in June, we have a new president and CEO joining us, Amit Savak, who brings to us a depth of experience from working with learning and higher education companies, as well as a background with ed tech companies. And he is truly steadfast on his belief in the power of education and how it helps to transform lives. So coming in June, we're very much so looking forward to welcoming our new president and CEO, Amit Savak. And I believe he will continue to further and accelerate the work that we're doing on the global front to improve the learning experience for our prospective graduate students. So it's a pleasure, again, being here with you, and I look forward to building synergies through this meeting and others. Thank you, DPQ, and also our ETS India team.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. It's great to hear from you, and I'm sure our educational partners who have joined us in great numbers are also as enthralled as we are, hearing about what ETS is bringing to the table. Let me now introduce, let me now invite Lijo to talk about ETS and ETS India and give an overview of the same.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pawan. I appreciate it. Thank you for setting this up, Karthik and the rest of the team. I think you guys have been doing a great job since we started our India exploratory work on GRE and so on. Thank you so much. Thanks, Anne-Marie, for your kind words. And I'm thinking Anne-Marie set the context on the larger ETS piece as such, right? So she gave us an outline of what we do and how we kind of envision ourselves to in the future and so on. So with the new president and CEO coming in, I'm sure, we've already had our conversation, started a conversation. He seems really interested in the India landscape. That brings in a lot of, hopefully a lot of investment, a lot of additional focus and so on and so forth. So these are good times for ETS and ETS India in particular. Just to give you a quick brief, I'm sure most of you have heard ETS, related to ETS in many ways. Just a couple of points besides what we have on the slide. I think this is the first ever initiative inside of India that we're going to be engaging with the agent community, right? So we've never done this in our existence of 70 plus years. So this is basically the first of its kind. So we're so enthusiastic. We're very enthusiastic about the whole endeavor, and I'm sure we will add value to each other's. Obviously, in terms of the objective to kind of put somebody abroad, I think it's going to be more interesting. It's going to be it's going to be, what do I say? We have an interesting journey ahead at this point in time. And the other bit I would want to talk to you or want to kind of bring your attention to is that we've been very innovative as we've been there in the in existence for 70 plus years. But if you look at the COVID and the tough times for the industry as such, right? So we brought an innovation by bringing the home-based testing opportunity for both TOEFL and GRE. I understand we are evolving, and we will surely have very many questions on this. We're happy to take that. But what I want to put forward here is that we understand the market need, we understand the ecosystem largely, and going forward, we would want to work very closely with you guys on ground and see how best we can. Ultimately, it's the customer at the center of everything, right? So we place the customer at the center of what we do, like you do. So, and the objective is to ensure that he has a smooth transition from India to any country of his choice. Just read out whatever is there on the slides, which you guys can see. I think we are the fairest and valid and most reliable assessment which is available today. I've worked across the industry, so I can kind of vouch for what is put on the slide at this point in time. And like Anne-Marie mentioned, we invest tons of dollars into research and the other pieces which are very important to build an assessment organization. Next slide, please. Again, a quick brief on the product services which we offer. So besides the GRE and the TOEFL offering, we have Praxis, which is a teacher certification, which is available for the teachers. We don't have the product in India. We have TOEIC offering for the corporates. TOEIC offering, it's an English learning and an assessment platform for the corporate side of it. GRE is again further broken into the GRE Research Service. We are also building an ecosystem for the higher education, which I'm sure we will keep you on it once we have to launch the product in India and the rest of the world. And again, we're ever evolving. We want to hear from you guys more and see how we can co-work and co-develop products that are relevant for the India ecosystem. I leave this here. Thank you so much again, Pawan and the rest of the team. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lijo. This was very engrossing, and I believe the attendees here learned a lot about ETS and ETS India here. Now let me invite Tanya to talk about GRE and their plans in India. Tanya?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank each and every one of you to have made the time to join us today. I, Tanya Bajaj, the Client Relations Director for GRE in India, am here to share a quick overview of the work the GRE program is doing here in India and in South Asia. As you have just seen, we have the DPCube Learning Team appointed as our official ETS GRE Resource Center to support us on a lot of on-ground activities like engaging and developing relationships with key stakeholders like consultants, learning development partners, furthering advocacy and outreach activities with the vision to make the GRE General Test and its associated opportunities available and accessible to all. It also may be common knowledge that the GRE General Test is accepted over 1,300 institutions worldwide. But it's also important to reiterate that we have over 90 premier institutions here in India too, who accept the GRE General Test for their admission purposes in various programs. To name a few, we have the Indian School of Business, the Indian Institute of Managements, about 9 of them, right from IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, Lucknow, Rohtak, Ropar, Kashipur, several of them and more. BIT School of Management, Plaksha University, Kreya Universities, and many more who have joined hands collectively to be a part of our network here in India. And at the current going rate, we plan to touch close to 150 such universities in India by 2023. The rationale here is to build a wider network of institutions in foreign education destinations, obviously, but also in India as well, to help students maximize their opportunities with the GRE General Test and to be able to provide a platform for them to display their true potential. As we all know that the GRE General Test has proven time and again to be able to provide valuable insight and gauge a candidate's academic readiness at college. Moving forward, as you can see here, this is a list of the 90 institutions, as I previously mentioned, and the programs for which the GRE general test is accepted here in India. To give you a deeper understanding of the work that we're doing from an institutional perspective is like this. As soon as an institution expresses interest to become a designated institution, we offer them a variety of services to efficiently and securely receive verified score reports to help them streamline and improve their recruitment processes. And all these efforts have basically translated into more students taking the GRE general test, as well as more institutions accepting the test too. Next slide, please. If we take a closer look at this slide here, we can see that the GRE test takers come from varied backgrounds, which in turn becomes even more beneficial for institutions as they're always looking to build more and more diverse cohorts to facilitate knowledge exchange and sharing of varied perspectives in their classrooms. Due to GRE's holistic test design, as well as test taker friendly design, we have test takers coming in from varied backgrounds as shown in the graph on the left, where students come in from life sciences backgrounds, engineering followed by closely, as well as from business. So basically in unison, we see that these efforts are contributing towards strengthening the ecosystem for all stakeholders. Stakeholders like yourself, like consultants, several candidates, as well as institutions. This is a brief overview of the work that we're doing in India, and we've been positively successful in terms of developing this network. Plus, as Anne-Marie suggested, that we're also working with the Business School Advisory Council, where we're looking to understand the needs of the current business schools, as well as be able to, to be in a position to be able to use their strategic guidance and develop newer products to help and develop the Indian education system from our side as well. That said, I would now look at, there are several marketing initiatives as well that we are putting in place, which will be discussed in the coming slides.
Thank you, Tanya. That was really interesting. And it's so heartening to see that ETS GRE is taking special efforts to reaching out to more and more institutions and having them accept the GRE scores. I think what in turn we do is that our study abroad partners who are here, if a student is not able to go abroad, I think there's always a fallback mechanism that they can use in country, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you. Good, now let's hear from Siddharth on how marketing is supporting our educational partners in promoting the GRE test. Siddharth?
Hey, thanks so much, Pawan. This is something that I'm very excited to talk to all of you about because this has not been in existence for quite a while, and we've certainly had agents across India reaching out to us with regard to what is that extra effort that we can actually support with the GRE program for your agent partners across India. We already have a very active promotion which is going on with agents on the TOEFL side of things, but we always found something which was missing in GRE, and now thanks to our ETS India Resource Center, we have this in place for you. So over the next couple of slides, what I am going to be discussing is about the marketing support that we will provide through the ETS India Resource Center. We also have tons of resource practice materials which are available for you to be able to share this with your students with test prep support as well. And I'm going to be discussing something very pertinent, to the times of the day with the test security measures that we in the GRE program are taking it. Moving on to the next slide, what I would want to, re-emphasize is that there is going to be tons of materials which are now going to be made available and accessible to you as a part of our resource center. So the resource center will give you official access, to our test prep resources and guides with regard to how do you prepare for the GRE general test. We are also keen to engage along with you for a lot of free info sessions that we can provide your counselors and your officers so that you're well versed the GRE general test and what it has to offer. We also want to ensure that training to your trainers will become the key, for your student success with the GRE general test. So we are going to provide you with support with verbal training, and also on the math part, if we are able to, kind of extend and work along with your trainers in your offices. We also, look to run several joint webinars that, the ETS India Resource Center would be happy to support you with, along with the makers of the test. So if you want representatives from ETS, coming across from different parts of the world, we'd be happy to support you along with the same, so that your outreach to students can really increase and amplify. We also want to ensure that you get access to our social media channels and outlets to ensure that your messaging is communicated across all channels. We want to ensure that your students, who come into these webinars and sessions are benefited with discount vouchers for a very interesting Power Prep Plus online, which is now available with us. This is a very short-term promotional offer that we are running specifically for this year. And I would want all of you, to make sure that you access this and ensure that you reach out to the ETS India Resource Center team to avail this and share this with your students. We want to ensure that we are supporting students and the entire ecosystem in the test registration and the guidance process. So the contact center number that Pawan showed you earlier, and also the email ID, is also there to support you if in case you face any issues or any challenges, or even if your students need guidance with regard to registration, our team would be more than happy to support you over the same. Moving on to share what are the resources that we offer with the GRE general test. There are tons, and there are plenty official guides coming in from the makers of the test. The Power Prep Plus online that I mentioned and I spoke to you earlier about is a 3 full-length practice test which is available for test takers. We have real test questions published in it, and it actually simulates a real testing experience for you, where we provide you scores within minutes for all the 3 sections of the test, along with the score report, which summarizes your performance along with the answers. So this will really help you get a dipstick check and understanding with regard to how your students are performing before they go on to take the actual test. So this guidance tool will really help them to, set their scores before undertaking the real official test. We also have several print material which is made available in India through our publishers, McGraw-Hill. The team at DPCube and our ETS India Resource Center, would be happy to connect you with the team, so that if you want to purchase these at a bulk discounted price from our publishers, you will be able to have an access to these materials, and you can pass on these benefits to your students if you deem to choose to do so. Moving on to the next slide, these are additional collaterals which we've recently made and developed from the GRE program for distribution in the agent network. We are going to ensure that PDF versions of these documents are made available to you, and we will supply you print materials of all these collaterals and brochures. In the next slide, this is something that I certainly wanted to emphasize and talk about with the security measures to ensure that there is a trust in our test scores, which is a top priority for ETS GRE. Recently in India, we saw many candidates who were trying to cheat systems, and we began an investigation, that led us to cancel scores of candidates who tried to gain an unfair advantage. So as study abroad advisors, I would want you to be on our side to amplify a message that for those test takers, who do try and cheat the system, on the short term, it might seem like they might get away with it, but when we report, the score cancellations to institutions, they will have to face consequences of the same. Ensuring the security is maintained is a key priority, for the ETS GRE program. And we are always going to ensure that we invest in the same to stay a step ahead for those who try to cheat our systems. The GRE at-home tests, were made for a very specific reasons, so as to provide more access to students who are not being able to reach out to sites and centers during the time of the pandemic. but it is an option which is here to stay for us. And with this work, we rest assure you that we are always going to be monitoring, investigating, and also continue to improve our systems, which are going to be in place. So to protect the needs of the vast majority of test takers who actually test very honestly. And this is something that we have ensured that we are able to implement this with live human proctoring, with artificial intelligence technology as well put in place, so that we have facial recognition, gaze tracking, and video recording of entire sessions of the test. If I further, highlight with regard to the communication messages, that we put out there in the media, you will be able to see and notice that we actively, put out print media articles around how we ensure test security with the GRE general tests. This is certainly very important to us. And for anyone, who does notice anything that they would want to flag up to our teams, please feel free to write into us. I also have included an email ID of the Office of Testing Integrity at ETS. So you can feel free to write into either one of us at the Resource Center or write into OTI directly if you have any issues or concerns. And we would want to address each and every one of them. Moving on, so this is the entire marketing network support that you will see very proactively helping and supporting you in India. And we are very eagerly looking forward to working with all of you. So thanks, Pawan.
Thank you, Siddharth. I think it was good to know the resources that were there, which are there for our educational partners. It was also good to know you spoke about how the ETS India Resource Center, which is the DPQ team, led by Karthik, etc., would be able to support the trainers. I believe we have a trainer on our rolls who is being trained by ETS master trainers, and we can support the trainers in now teaching GRE in probably a much more efficient way for the students to get more marks in the test.